Hi people, me again, of course, Moreno Ravenberg. Yeah, as you can tell from the header, this is going to be a really quick video on Sandalphon and the Scarab. Now, when I've worked with Sandalphon, or in all the years or better said lifetimes that I've worked with Sandalphon, it's happened twice that I've come into contact with the Scarab. And for those of you that don't know what a Scarab is, it's one of those black beetles. It's spelled S-C-A-R-A-B. Okay. Again, if you want to know about the Scarab, check the wiki entry and the link in the description of this video below. Specifically a black beetle. I've never seen like a jewel scarab or anything like that. In any case, it's always been those black beetles, those black scarabs. And yeah, Sandalphon, that is essentially, lol, let's just call that Sandalphon spirit animal. That's how Sandalphon, that is essentially the animal or the symbol that Sandalphon will portray, other than the part of fortune symbol. The part of fortune symbol is his logo essentially. Okay, Sandalphon, this is Sandalphon's seal obviously, but in terms of animal, let's just say that that black scarab really hits home in terms of Sandalphon's usage. Now, a good deal of people might already be familiar with the fact that black beetles or scarabs specifically, within Egyptian mythology, they have a good reputation for being seen as a symbol of resurrection, and they have other divine properties linked to them, but this has nothing to do with that. Okay, so don't confuse the two for people that are watching this. Okay, this strictly applies only to Sandalphon. Now, the black scarab essentially, why it is synonymous with Sandalphon in a spiritual context, in a divine context, is because it represents the earth at, metaphorically speaking, or within this context, at its finest level. Not metaphorically, but within this context, it represents the earth at its finest context. Within this context, it represents the earth at its finest level. And at the same time, it also represents mobility because, you know, scarabs can fly, and also heavy-handedness. Okay, because scarabs are big bugs, they're big beetles. Compared to other bugs, they're definitely not small in stature. They're like the biggest bugs you'll find out there, or at the very least, one of the biggest bugs. Simply represents heaviness, strength, if you will, but only in a metaphorical way. Okay. And this essentially also symbolizes Sandalphon's properties and the way he works and goes about business and whatnot. So yeah, that's essentially it. How I know this, it's happened twice, and last night it happened again. When I was a beginner, I was an up-and-comer, not a beginner, but an up-and-comer. In 2017, I remember I was discussing with Sandalphon, as in other than wealth, right, and terrestrial resources and whatnot, and, you know, ruling over the material world and all of its things, what other skills do you have? Can you, for example, and this time I was interested in manifesting things out of thin air. So going from astral to material, you know, for example, I think about a ball, and a ball appears in my hand in the physical plane, in the material world, and he said, nah, those are my specialties. I also have this as a specialty, manifesting things in reality, or manifesting things to reality. Because I thought to myself, you know, if he rules over the material plane, he should be able to go from astral to physical. But of course, it's a lot more complicated than that, and I'm not going to get into it. Not necessary. Impractical, definitely, for the purposes of this video. He said, I can do this as well, so manifest things, but it's not a specialty. Let's just say mild to moderate at best. That's essentially it. And I said to him, okay, let's give it a try. Just manifest anything for me materially. And the furthest I got in terms of what I saw, was it 27? Yeah, it was 17. I'm really thinking whether it was 17 or 18. It was 17. I remember I simply was lying on the bed and I saw a black scarab literally just manifest out of nothing from his altar. A regular sized scarab, not like a giant scarab, a regular sized scarab. But it was astral. But my point is, it was so close to the material plane that it almost seemed material. The only way that I could tell that it was astral was because it had like a shadow around it or something, you know? And it simply flew across the room. It literally just flew uh, from his altar to the door that led out into the backyard through my bedroom. In fact, when I still lived in that one bedroom apartment. And last night it happened again, and the night prior, last night, I think, before I went to sleep, I simply discussed matters with him because Sandalphon, generally speaking, since he is quote unquote, so to speak, all about the earth, then he is not the clairvoyant type. So giving you dreams and stuff, whatnot, or essentially giving you, relaying astral messages to you through dreams is not his forte, to put it that way, not his specialty. He's not really good at that by default. But in the wake of me permanently disabling my dragon under the conditions that I outlined in my video about thinking the dragon, in my video called "In the Aftermath of the Dragon," how should I put it? He told me that, yeah, you know that you've gotten a lot stronger, so now even me giving you dreams is not hard, really. Which is correct, okay? And I said to myself, yeah, I know, I can sense it. Like I said, the whole experience with my dragon has left my astral body a lot stronger, to the point where like I said in the comment section of that video, when I replied to someone's comment, that I could do things that I couldn't do before, okay? It's like bench pressing 10,000 pounds or 10,000 kilograms, and the experience will leave you a lot stronger than you were before, even if you don't bench press anymore. And last night he gave me a dream again, and I was pleased with the dream. The dream was clear and whatnot. So when I woke up this morning, I said to myself, hey, I wasn't sure whether it was a dream referring to my dragon, but I was like, it's unlikely because I had a dream about a black beetle, a scarab, and I'll tell you guys what it is about in a second. But I was like, okay, I thought initially the dream was simply symbolic of me thinking. I was just spitballing here, just guessing wildly, rather than an educated evaluation of things, a spiritual evaluation. I said to myself, it's simply, a reference to me laying my dragon, permanently disabling my dragon. That's it. But I said to myself, nah. But then again, when I thought about it, I was like, nah. I said to myself, nah, that's not it. Because my dragon wouldn't manifest as a beetle. And I said to myself, wait a minute. The other thing, beetle is Sandalphon. Because I know that. Sandalphon, his one of his symbols is a scarab beetle, an animalistic symbol. His animalistic symbol is a scarab, period. So I simply took a look at matters, and because Sandalphon, as always, was like, yeah, you can figure this out for yourself. I don't need to say anything. I'm like, yeah, let me just briefly have a look-see. I essentially dove into my own mind, and the dream is simply me reaffirming. The dream is simply me giving him full control once again over the financial aspect of my life, and within a financial context, me putting him first. So overall, Samael is my first and Sandalphon is my second, but within a financial context, Sandalphon is the man. He's like number one, and Samael comes in second, and so on and so forth with the other guys. This dream was simply a reaffirmation thereof. I simply dreamt about catching a scarab beetle, a black beetle, and I put it in one of those cylinder-shaped cooler boxes, and it died because it's like airtight. And I simply picked it up with a fork and I took a look at it, and I was wondering whether it's edible. You can disregard the edible part, but the whole dream because the edible part is NA, it's not applicable. But the whole part of the black beetle and me catching that beetle and just putting it in the thing and whatnot, all of that, is what I said before, okay? It's simply me reaffirming my bond with Sandalphon and laying more importance on him now more than ever. And I was briefly hesitant on whether I should show you guys this. He told me to temporarily wear his necklace, which I'm wearing, okay, to boost business again and whatnot, to make things flow again completely. And I'll simply take it off when things go back to normal. But yeah, me and him, we had a discussion about that, and I might potentially he might allow me to wear it permanently if I wish. But again, it's not. It's a conversation for a couple of months from now, 2 months from now, not now. What else can I say? No, that was it. Okay, that's simply what it stands for. And this dream was simply reaffirmation. It was affirmation of him being able to give me a dream completely, despite the fact that it's not his forte, his skill, his strength point, his thingy, if you will, his specialty. But now he can do so because, like I said, my experience with the dragon, me being the dragon, despite the fact that I permanently disabled the dragon, made me so strong to the point where he can do so. Because I remember it was always I never had a dream from him. This is the first time that I had a dream about Sandalphon, in which he gave me a dream directly. And yeah, the dream was clear. Everything was clear. You know, if I'm not mistaken, I was back in my one-bedroom apartment, but I can't remember. The environment was also dismissible. You know, where I was doesn't really matter. It was purely about the interaction with the Scarab. So yeah, it's affirmation thereof and reaffirmation of what I mentioned beforehand. So that's all, guys. If you've got any other questions, I'll hear it in the comment section. And Sandalphon says bye, says hi, and bye as well. Bye.